Welcome back to the Maximum Chillage podcast. My name is Chuy Sanchez, and with me, the return.
Tiki Mike.
Tiki Mike is back, and he's brought in his special Tiki brew, Tropical Torpedo Sierra Nevada Tropical IPA.
You know, because it's the return of Tiki Mike, I thought I would go with something tropical because, you know, Tiki and tropical, it seems to go together. I got this Sierra Nevada Tropical Torpedo IPA. I actually got it partly because I'm trying to bring you over to IPAs, and I figured finding the fruitier IPAs might be the easiest way to do it. This one is supposed to have hints of, I don't know, I can't remember what I read. Something with like mango and other bullshit.
I like
probably.
Like if there's pineapple in that beer, man, I'm in.
Papaya, passion fruit, and mango. Now I don't know if we get all those hints right now because
I don't know. I'm not sure.
It's kind of a little bit warmer than it should be. I had this in the fridge for like 3 hours.
It's pretty warm, man.
But beer is beer right now, and that's that. I'm not. What are they called?
A connoisseur?
Cicerones or something.
I don't know.
Something.
So speaking of Tiki Mike and this tropical torpedo, it was your birthday. When was your birthday? Because I honestly don't know. I'm not being an asshole. I've never known because you don't tell me. I suspect the only reason people know at work is because they put it on a calendar or something.
No. I have this coworker that actually this is because somebody from my old work posted something that they tagged me in like years ago, right? Like back 2014 probably. 14, 15. My other coworker was trying, from where I work at right now, they're super into the zodiac signs. They're always trying to know everybody's zodiac sign. They somehow figured out that I was a Libra. They knew what time frame it is. So they went through some creeping and found, a tagged photo I was in.
Which is not that hard.
Well, I guess it's not.
No.
But I wouldn't think to go through tagged photos to go find a birthday.
No, that's not how I would figure it out.
Or maybe they were just going through tagged photos and happened to come across a birthday. But yeah, my coworker found the birth date, and so the day before I said, hey, because I started to say it in front of someone, I said, hey, you keep that shit to yourself. This is not something I like. I go in the next day. And somebody from another department I don't even work with, says, "Oh, happy birthday!" And I'm like, "God damn it!" And I walk in, and then another person, and then another person. My coworker was nice enough to, I hated the attention, but at the end, I guess it was all right. I've never been one to like attention. It like feels like a searing pain to have any attention on myself. So I've never liked birthdays or said, "Hey guys, it's my birthday. Let's go do something." So yeah, I've just never been that way. And but I will say, once I actually got the card and my coworker had gone around and had a bunch of people sign it and stuff, it was kind of nice. And it came with a couple tallies.
There you go.
And after work, in the adjacent parking lot, so we can't get in trouble. No, that's down the road. Oh. But no, just had some tolly sessions, cracked open a couple cold ones with the boys.
There you go.
It was pretty cool. It was just chilling.
I'm getting over a cold. Sorry if you guys hear me clearing my throat a lot. Sick.
Oh, I heard about that.
I hate this weather change. Like this whole summer, I've been like, I want it to be colder. I hate this weather.
I heard all of this on your podcast last week.
Dude, I'm sick. But
why are you sick all the time? You seem to have head colds a lot.
Not all the time. Every time the weather changes.
Just the weather changes.
Whenever a weather changes from hot to cold, from cold to hot, I get sick. That's just when I get sick. But the reason why I brought up your birthday is because, and we were talking about TT Mike, is if I had more money, man, I would have somebody carve you a rendition of yourself.
My face as a tiki?
As a tiki.
Oh, that would be sick. But
you don't smoke weed, but I would have it holding a ball just for effect. That's what I really envision.
Or a wood carving pipe
that you stick
with
incense
my
in?
tiki face at the end. That's pretty baller.
One day when I get money, man, you're getting that. That's coming to you.
We should wait a little while. I mean, I feel like I do like Tiki Mike a lot, but I've been being called Tiki Mike and introducing myself as Tiki Mike for all of 6 months. If Bobby hadn't, started calling me Tiki Mike, just recently, I would have never thought, you know what, that'll be my persona on a podcast. I'll introduce. I feel like it would have been weird for me to say, hey, I'm Michael Steinhauer. I don't know why. Chuy Sanchez sounds all right, but I feel like, hey, I'm Michael Steinhauer. That doesn't have a good ring to it, so that's why I was like, fuck it, I'll go with Tiki Mike.
I mean, it sounds good. It fits you. The reason why they called you Tiki Mike to begin with wasn't very positive.
Oh, I'm sure it wasn't. I don't think any of my nicknames have been coming from a positive place.
I think they called you Titi, or Bobby called you Titi Mike because you're just mysterious like a Titi.
Oh, I assume that it was because when I'm there, I'm just there.
There's
I'm not interactive.
I mean, that happens sometimes, but sometimes you get little. You'll start to interact.
Yeah, that's with a couple more of these tropical torpedoes in my system, Then I interact.
So how does 28 feel?
28.
I have a couple months on you.
It doesn't feel any different. I'm indifferent now. I think I used to hate it, and I think I was hating it all the way up until 28. But then I woke up and I said, God damn it, it's just exactly the same. Why am I, freaking out about this?
Yeah.
But then I'll probably, change tunes when it comes to 30. That's when it'll hit me again. That oh shit, it's happening.
I see there's somebody on the internet where their birthday's today, and the last week they've just been talking about my last day in my 20s.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
Yeah. I figure I'll do a real big for that one. I'll make a spectacle of it.
So it's been a big week, man.
Yes.
It's been a big week in the news. Starting with the not as big.
Not as big. I was hoping you were going to do
but
that.
Not
it
as
is.
big.
It's big, but
Tom Petty
on another week it would have been much bigger.
Yeah, So the passing of Tom Petty. We have a friend who's a really big Tom Petty fan, and
hey, shout out to you at the last DJ.
That's what he calls himself. So he's Titi Mike. I'm Chuy Sanchez. He's the last DJ.
A concept from a song.
I remember
about the last DJ. The last real DJ. The last person that wasn't just playing whatever fucking shit record company shoved at, radio disc jockeys' throats. The last guy that just said, this is what I want to play. I'm going to play the songs that I want, not the singles on the tracks. I'm going to play whatever track I think is the best to listen to.
The deep cuts.
Yeah, and that was what the song was about. And
do you remember? I don't know if you were here or not. But that guy at the last DJ, who shall not be named, so I don't know if he wants me to name him.
Uh-huh.
I actually texted that guy, sorry for your loss, when I heard that he passed.
Oh.
And because he's a huge Tom Petty fan. But in my living room, when we were younger, he got my acoustic out. He was shit-faced drunk.
I wasn't here. I heard about this.
He was shit-faced drunk, and he started playing Free Fallin'. And I don't know all the words to Free Fallin', so... He's playing it, and it just sounds beautiful, like it's just striking a chord in your heart. And I'm just like, take it to the chorus. And all of us were just singing, 'cause I'm free.
Oh, man, dude.
Free falling.
Interestingly enough, I actually missed out on a chance to go see Tom Petty 2 weeks ago with him at the last DJ.
He saw him 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, he saw him 2 weeks ago.
That's horrible.
Or 2 or 3 weeks ago in San Francisco, and he had invited me.
What's your favorite Tom Petty song?
My favorite Tom Petty song?
I feel like he was underrated as an artist.
He is. Dude, I mean, if you just listen to a full album, it's pretty entertaining, man.
Yeah.
It's but underrated. I feel like he was bigger than our generation. You know what I mean? I think, of course, our generation doesn't remember very well.
Yeah.
But I think he was pretty celebrated in his time.
Oh yeah.
I think. But would you say that he's less celebrated than like Springsteen? Or
oh yeah, definitely. More people know who Springsteen is.
And I would say that he's on par with Springsteen. He's on par with the boss.
When people say, "Oh, I love Bruce Springsteen,"
oh, but they
Born in the USA.
Uh-huh.
That's all they like.
Yeah.
Like, well, what else do you like? Do you like Sandy? What else? I mean, what do you celebrate his whole? No, you like Born in the USA, and you liked it for the wrong reasons. You liked it because he thinks it's a protest song.
Yeah, not a patriotic song.
It's not a patriotic. Yeah. It is a patriotic song, but in a different sense. It is a protest.
Yeah, it's a patriotic song in the sense of what's his name? On the oceans, you know what song I'm talking about? That folk song.
Woody Guthrie.
Woody Guthrie. Yes. Mm-hmm. This land is your land. Not
to be confused with his son Arlo Guthrie.
But This Land Is Your Land, when it came out, they were teaching it in schools to kids. I think I learned it as a kid in school. But it's a sad song, dude. It's all about, disenfranchised groups of population and forgotten people in the Dust Bowl, everything. And I know you were just talking about the Dust Bowl, by the way. Speaking of, you actually went to that brewery?
Yeah, you never been there?
No, man.
Dude, it rules.
That's cool, man. I have had
Taco Truck.
No, is it Grapes of Wrath?
It's not. It's a playoff Grapes of Wrath.
Yeah, I know. I can't think of what it's called. I know that they always used to have
sorry,
that.
Katie,
there.
I don't remember. I don't like IPAs.
Out of IPAs, I remember it was okay. Yeah.
No, honestly, that brewery, I love breweries in general, but this one,
the
top
food,
notch.
The food is,
which is not a chain, just like the breweries that I go to that are chains, like BJ's. It's a cool brewery, but I mean it's a chain. It's a restaurant. This is like straight up what we built from day one of being in the backyard brewing.
Yeah,
and then blowing up.
Yeah,
and that's just that's the American dream to me. Is just like starting from the bottom and then working all your way to the top to having a grandiose restaurant with cool ass shit on the walls and your own beer serving it.
You know what place I like that's local that we went to once is that Riley's. I feel like we should go there again. That's a good restaurant.
That was a pretty cool little brewery.
I liked it's a small brewery, but I like it. I like its vibe.
You used to brew beer, right?
Not really.
You did though.
With the last DJ.
With him, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't turn out well. That's not something that you aspire to do.
It tasted like rum. It tasted flat and like rum. It was bad. It was bad mixes. I would like to do it again just to, not as like a real brewery, but it would be cool to have my own little keg that I can just tap on my own, but that's also probably a bad idea too, me with my own access to a keg.
That's all bad. You're 28 years old with access to your own keg.
Yeah.
So getting back to Tom Petty, passed away. Mm-hmm. Rule of threes.
I don't believe in the rule of threes.
Well, there's two already.
Who's the second?
Hugh Hefner died the week before.
Oh, well, dude, people die because people die.
Yeah. But there's sometimes when no celebrities dying at all that we hear of. Big ones.
Dude, well, no, man.
It always happens, man.
No,
man. It always happens.
No, and also how long is this stretch of period
if there was no rule of threes, then it wouldn't be a rule.
Dude.
If you're not familiar with the rule of threes, if you're not familiar with it, celebrities die in groups of three. It just always has been, always will be. Right now, Hugh Hefner, Tom Petty, and we're expecting a third.
Okay, you want to know why I say that's bullshit?
Why?
Because at the Oscars every year, they have an in memoriam video.
Yeah.
And there's always about 20, 30 people. And if you divvy that up per month, that's way more than 3 per month.
They're not that famous.
A lot of them are. Well, of course, lately they've been showing a little bit more of the behind-the-scenes people that are not very famous, not that famous directors, not that famous cinematographers or even dress designs, and they've been featured in the end of the year thing. But what I'm saying is that people die, man, and people are always just looking for reasons and patterns and things, and these things don't exist. These are all man-made, like, little thoughts of, like, oh shit, it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
And yeah, come on, dude.
What was your opinion on Hugh Hefner? The Hef.
Hugh Hefner? Oh, well,
there's a lot of not conspiracy, but there was a a lot of heat after he died.
Oh,
a lot of stuff they dragged all this stuff out.
Come on, man. It's hard to say. It's hard to say because he's a very complex figure when you really think about it.
Yeah,
he's more than just the playboy that had a mansion full of supermodel like girls
he
that
was a
were
civil
just
rights activist.
Yeah, dude.
Political
like
activist.
if you look at,
but he was also seen as a womanizer.
Yes,
and also seen as an exploiter.
Okay, did he ever sign any contracts that kept people from? I mean, I've never heard him being super
Let me tell you about the
shady in his
exploitation.
contracts.
Let me tell you what it said, and I can't confirm this. It's just what I've read online. That he got a hold of nude pictures of Marilyn Monroe without her permission, knowing that she was going to blow up, and he published them. He bought them. He bought them off whoever had them, rightfully, but then he publishes them without her permission.
Okay.
And that's
okay. Yeah, but she that was a shoot that she did.
Yeah, and I don't know.
They were posed pictures,
and I don't know
look,
what
again.
I don't know what the legality is on.
I don't know what all the issues are on that, but I will say that she obviously posed for the pictures willingly, at a time.
But she didn't intend them to be seen by the vast majority of Playboy readers.
Okay, she probably didn't, and at that point in her career, she probably didn't necessarily want to have that done, but I mean, okay, when you take pictures like that, and you have to assume that there is a chance that somebody will be seeing them. I mean, this is, again, at a day before social media was a big thing and things could get hacked. I understand that. It was a different time. But at the same level, even back then, as taboo as things were, I'm sure she had to have taken these pictures with the risk assessment of like, oh, well, somebody else might see these that I don't intend on them seeing. But it sounds like all he did was buy the rights to it, so that's fine. I mean, if he wants to buy the rights to something and then use it as he pleases, that's just business, man. I don't think that there was anything wrong with that. I mean, she wasn't being forced to take the pictures. He wasn't doing it to shame her. I feel like...
But some people might say that she took those pictures because she needed a buck. She wanted to be an actress.
Yeah.
But she realized, LA is a lot harder than it seems. Just like a lot of people go out there and figure out that it's a lot harder than it seems. So she's like, well, I got to pay the rent this month, so I'm going to take some provocative pictures. And I'm going to get my rent... And those things will never see the light of day because this guy's a jit-ass photographer who sucks. And that'll be that.
I mean, again, I think that just comes with the territory of taking the pictures. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, you have to take the risk assessment if that's what you're going to do.
To me, I can't weigh in on any of that because I don't really know.
I'm speaking completely based off of this conversation.
Yeah, and
I don't
based
know
on what I know, so I don't really know everything. But my personal opinion of him, when I was a kid, when I went to Fresno City, when I would go, when I go to school, it'd be raining sometimes, and you can't be out there because it's an outdoor campus. It's not like there's a lot of indoor things there. I would go to the library, and I would read his biography, and I thought that back then I was like, oh yeah, porno, like fucking tits, and like. You start reading about this guy, and you're like, oh shit, like he leans left. Oh shit, he was like,
yeah,
he published a lot of things that nobody was publishing back then.
Yeah, no, he was using his magazine as a means to get political thought out. I mean, when I saw some random documentary like 6 years ago or something like that, and I was just like, I was blown away. I didn't know he was like on the forefront of civil rights and gay rights and. Like, I don't know, man. He's much more complex. It's hard to say that somebody was good or bad when they are that complex. They're a person. There's a lot of, I mean, not everybody's all good. Not everybody's all bad. What I'm saying is, I don't know if I would necessarily, erect a statue of the guy.
Well, I don't know. I think that's in order. In Beverly Hills, he was Mr. Beverly Hills.
Well, you see, and again, I think that's community. I think statues are community issues. If the community wants it,
you ever been to Beverly Hills?
With you.
Okay, so did I show you his house?
Yeah, we rode by it.
Yeah,
we walked up to the gate.
You had to walk to get there, and so we drove by the gate and. You see his house perched up there, all grandiose. But, I mean, right smack dab in the middle of Beverly Hills is the Playboy building. And it's like when I was a kid, I would go to Beverly Hills and you'd see that, and you'd be like, ha ha ha, like he. But then you realize, holy shit, like this guy, pretty much, he is Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Like he is this neighborhood. Like when I think of Beverly Hills, I think of the Playboy Mansion, and I think that house itself is like that's a historical landmark. Just from what I've seen online, and when they did it on MTV Cribs, I'm like, holy shit, that's wild what goes on in there. I mean, all the celebrities that pass through there, like anybody who's anybody,
I have,
who's been there?
Fred
Mr.
Durst.
Yes, but Mr.
Okay.
Pauly Shore.
Oh, I'm sure Pauly Shore, definitely.
He partied there, man.
Back in the heyday, dude.
Imagine being there in the 2000s, dude. Like how cool would that have been to be there with Pauly Shore, Fred Durst, Linkin Park?
No, dude, I just remember like
Brendan Fraser,
a really cheesy late night infomercial that would be selling like the Playboy Mansion. See what goes on behind the scenes in the parties. And there was just this picture of Fred Durst like in the midst of a party with his arms all thrown out like he's posing for an album cover. And with his registered trademark look with the white shirt and the backwards red Yankees hat. Yeah, and I remember thinking, Fred Durst there? Weird.
Dude, he lived there at a time.
Yeah.
But
how sad it would be to stop getting invited.
I'm sure Pauly Shore, we can ask him, what was it like when you stopped getting the invites? Before Snapchat, before Instagram, you just knew. You just like, you would hear it like a week later, like, yeah, you weren't there. It was wild, man.
Well, you used to be there.
But yeah, I mean, people would get disinvited.
Yeah.
I saw a cool post about him. It said that he was so old that his first wife was named Mildred, and his last wife was named Crystal. So,
I like it.
So that's in the news there, and now we got to talk about it.
Yeah.
I know you don't like getting political. I realize
hey,
that.
Well, I heard your Eastern Indian impression of me. I don't know if you realize that it turns more and more Eastern Indian as you go. But
I'm not gonna do it right now.
Michael doesn't like to.
No, I can't do it, dude. I have a really good Indian impression, but I'm not gonna do it.
Anyways, again, those are words that I took quoted from you. So I'm gonna just throw that back at yourself.
I'll call out whoever's been here.
No. I
just don't want to hear anything that person was saying. There was a person here. There was a person here. That they had I didn't value anything that came out of their mouth. So I just said, you know what? Instead of being impersonal, I just said, let's not get political.
Hey, well, okay. Well,
let's talk.
Your reasoning for
let's
not
argue
being
about
political made sense to me.
No, but hold on.
All right.
No, it made sense. But let's talk about this.
I mean, issues come up and they have to be talked about because certain things are bigger than.
Which is evident in this week that Jimmy Kimmel. Did you see his monologue?
No.
He just comes out teary-eyed because Las Vegas is his hometown. He's from Las Vegas, Nevada. And we're talking about the Vegas shooting. If you haven't caught on already, we're talking about the Vegas shooting. Jimmy Kimmel comes out teary-eyed saying, like all these thoughts and prayers that everybody offers are cool. But it's time to start doing something. Oops, sorry. These IPAs, they'll get you. No, but that's the lightness and the humor there. But at a certain point, it can't just all be fun and games. Like, I'd love this to be fun and games, but sometimes shit just happens. Like Stephen Colbert also, he had a monologue talking about it because it's the biggest mass shooting in a modern American history. And it happened in Las Vegas, Nevada. If you're not familiar, if you live under a rock, there was a shooting in Las Vegas, Nevada. There was a country music festival. Jason Aldean, big country star, was on stage when somebody started taking fire from like a 30-second floor of the Mandalay Bay. If you've never been to Las Vegas, Mandalay Bay is at the end of the strip, big giant gold window building. He started firing a semi-automatic weapon that was converted by a item. We'll get to this. that is legal to own, but not legal to fire or convert your weapon to. We'll get to that. And he killed in the ballpark of 50-something people and injured over 500.
I think the death toll ended up at 59 so far.
I'm not sure.
Well, I know it was 58 that day.
And rising.
I think, yes, people have died, or one person died since.
People even from Sanger were
Yeah,
there.
The girl from Sanger got hit in the liver.
Katie, who was on the show last week, her cousin was actually there. I was actually visiting her house. I was at her house and we were just hanging out, and I saw somebody post on Facebook, somebody who lives in Vegas that we know, shots fired at Mandalay Bay, everybody be careful. I didn't think much of it. That's when it first happened. I didn't think much of it. I'm like, okay, shots fired, couple shots, whatever. So I just go about my day. I'm about to leave because I leave later at night, and I see that it's turning into a big shit. And then Katie says, hey, that's where my cousin is. Where she's at that festival. She showed me a picture earlier because I love country music. She's like, hey, is this the festival you wanted to go to? I'm like, no, that's a different festival. Because I want to go to the big one. I can't even remember what it's called. Right, Stagecoach. That's in April. I want to go to that. I was like, no, that's in April. I don't know what this is. Her cousin was there, and she ends up texting everybody. She has a group text going, saying, hey, there's been a mass shooting. I'm okay. A little bit shaken, but I'm okay. So we turn on CNN, and we realize that it's a huge thing. It's a war zone out there. They're shooting automatic weapons, and I have no words, honestly, like for what happened that day. People automatically, the first thing that I started seeing online was, let's not politicize this. And it's like, how can you not? Like, gun control has been a thing that's been long overdue. And this is like a prime example of that, where they have this thing that you can put onto a weapon that converts it to a fully automatic weapon, but it's not legal. And I saw somebody on Facebook, I think it's called a bumper. I forget what, or a bump. I forget what it's called. But you put it on you convert your weapon and it turns into a fully automatic weapon. It's not legal to use, but the reasoning for it is when all hell breaks loose, that's when it's time to put it on. Like when it's the end of the world, or we go into a civil war or a foreign invasion, then hey, you know what? You have it. It was legal. Put the bump on, or bumper, whatever it is. It's a fully automatic weapon. The law is nothing at this point.
Basically, what this conversion does is it allows a more rapid fire by not having to pull the trigger multiple times. Yeah. You can just hold down and it will
turns
just
into
automatically
a machine gun of sorts, quote unquote machine gun.
Yeah. Here's the problem. There's no way that there is going to be legislation for it that would effectively stop this kind of thing. If you were to outlaw this certain thing, and it is outlawed in certain states, this conversion that you're talking about, people still get around it and use it anyways, whether they buy it legally or illegally at gun shows.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's way overdue.
Or
that the fact that
the manufacturers
this is already been out.
Remember how in California, you can't carry brass knucks.
Yeah.
And how do they get around it? They sell it as a paperweight.
Yeah, yeah.
There's always loopholes that are going to be used.
Well, and the biggest loophole that I know of is that at a convention, you don't need to pass any site evaluations because you're at a convention. It's a person-to-person transaction, not a person-to-store.
Again, this guy had a clean record. Like this, here's the thing. This is what's scary about this is that I don't think there is any single way that they could have prevented this one. I'm going to take a weird stance on this one. I've always been not a huge fan of guns, not saying that I haven't had family that owns guns, that are technically mine now. I don't fire them. I don't do anything with guns really. I've fired guns a couple times in my life,
it's a thing.
Yeah.
It really is a thing. Like, I hate guns. I think there's strict gun control. But 2 weeks ago, it was dove season, and a kid that we know that lives by Katie said, "You want to shoot my gun?" I was like, "Hell yeah, I want to shoot your gun!" And I shot a shotgun. And it's like, oh yeah, that's fun, you know. Like you totally forget about your morals and whatever when it's offered to you.
Yeah,
you don't want to be like, no, guns are disgusting. Like you just like, yeah, a gun, like it's just ingrained in you. I want to shoot that.
Here's the thing. Okay, I feel like we have to start looking at why our country is so different than other countries. There are other countries that do enforce gun control.
That's what it is. It's our sense of freedom. It's our constitutional right to bear arms.
No, okay,
that's why everybody. Okay,
in Canada, they have more guns per capita than we do, and they don't have this thing. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't want to. I'm definitely not a Trump person saying blame it on the media, but I feel like there is with the 24-hour news cycle that is created of jumping on the latest news and sensationalism of these events. I feel like certain people that are attracted to perpetrating these events seem to almost fetishize the idea. I don't know if you've ever gone onto the seedy parts of the internet, but the idea of shooting up a school is a joke, and almost like not just a joke, but like it's almost like something like, hey, you're gonna fuck with me, I'll shoot everybody at the school, thing. It's
well, I mean, it's in the music that we listen to. I mean, growing up, we listened to Leftover Crack.
Yeah, but they were saying it in a different way, and I don't think they were ever actually for any violence. They were saying that was just their statement.
I'm doing the blinking eyes.
No, dude, that was their statement. I'm not PC. I'll shoot your kid at school. That was the line, and that's just saying like, I'm not gonna be. Nothing that I say has to be politically correct. I don't know if I would take it as a literal, like, hey, I'm gonna go to the school and I'm gonna shoot you. Those guys seem to be like the least violent guys.
Their album cover is the World Trade Center getting flown into,
and a guy pouring gasoline on it,
and it says, and I think the title of the album is "Fuck the World Trade."
Yeah.
I mean, shout out to choking victim Leftover Crack. I love seeing you in April, but I mean,
no, but you're taking a lot of that way too literal, I think.
No, man.
But yeah, man.
Gain control.
You know what I think? See, that was against the police systematic. I mean, it was. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was. Anyways, you know what I think is really disturbing about this is Snapchat, and I don't know if you watched it, but this is the second mass shooting that I've seen. The other one was out of campus. That I've seen from the point of view of people there.
Oh man, I was on Reddit.
Because they're Snapchatting.
I was on Reddit seeing videos.
What I think is crazy is that, back in the day, like when Columbine happened, we were kids and it was the biggest thing. It was a fucking national tragedy. And I remember reading about how the NRA, stopped airing an ad that was supposed to be aired the next day, and their new date for the ad is like 8 days from now. And it's just like, well, they're kind of right. In 8 days, this shooting won't be a thing so much. It'll be something that people reference and stuff, but it's not going to be the national tragedy it was one day. I mean, back in the day. I don't know, man. It's a huge sordid issue. And again, I don't know if any kind of legislation could have actually stopped this event from happening. The guy had a clean record. The guy was at a vantage point where they couldn't fire because if you fired on his room, you might have hit any of the other rooms adjacent to his. He just had like a really good plan, and he took it out. Like, I don't know if you could have stopped this guy. Yeah, no, I
when thinking about it, like, you can't. I don't know what could have stopped him.
And that's the thing. You got to find out why he's doing that.
Okay. So I was on the conspiracy Reddit.
Oh, okay.
And you got to take that shit with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But one thing that I did see, which they show on they haven't showed it on the news, but have you seen the pictures of his room?
Inside?
Yeah.
The pictures with the guns everywhere?
They leaked, yeah. Those pictures.
Yeah.
There's a note. He left a note.
Uh-huh.
And if they never release that he left a note and what he said, that's a little sketch, because there was a note right there. And if they never say he said this.
But how do we know that wasn't a superimposed note? You know what I mean?
Like, it could have been. Like, you never know. Like, you don't know what was there. It could have been a menu. To be honest, it could have been a menu. You don't know what it was. It was a piece of paper, but it was a piece of paper along with a clip and by the guns and. But
have you heard about I mean, if we're going on conspiracies on this,
I can talk about conspiracy. Katie, I'm sorry, because Katie hates the conspiracy because her cousin was there and.
Yeah, but no. Well, it's not saying that it didn't happen, but that there were multiple shooters.
That's the conspiracy that Katie doesn't like, and I don't see why it can't be. I don't know. Like, why? I don't know. Like, I wasn't there. I can't really say, I heard multiple shooters. I just know that the first-hand accounts, there's a lot of first-hand accounts, there's a lot of interviews of people saying there was multiple shooters. And, I mean, that could be explained by there's a lot of buildings. Well, there's a lot of buildings in Las Vegas that create a lot of echoes.
Yeah.
If you've ever been to Vegas, you're in a valley of it's just one street, and you're in a valley of buildings. So there's gonna be a lot of echoes going around that could sound like multiple shooters. The one thing that I saw that I thought was weird, and I thought this was weird from the get-go, was the fact that he had so many guns there. As a person, I only need maybe 3 guns, 4 guns, 5 guns, 6 guns, maybe. Well, but to have over 20 guns there.
That'll be interesting, and whatever forensic reports they come out is seeing how many of them were fired. Because the only reasoning I could see him having that many guns is to have guns that are already preloaded to save on time from having to,
But over 20 guns?
I mean, well,
so
you're on this mission to go out.
Yeah.
I mean,
going off of the conspiracy Reddit, and again, like, this is just stuff that makes sense to me. I'm not trying to be a cool guy. I'm not trying to be like, everything's a conspiracy. Yeah. I don't really. I'd love for nothing to be a conspiracy. I'd love for everything to be cut and dry. But the conspiracy that they're saying, which makes a lot of sense to me, is that it was an arms deal gone bad. He was there to sell those guns. To who? Don't know. But what I think was weird is that the day after, who claimed that attack? ISIS did. ISIS claimed that attack.
Well, they've been claiming every attack everywhere.
That's weird. Yeah, you can say that. Like,
but then again, there are ISIS members in the Philippines, which is where he transferred 100,000.
So another thing that they were saying on the conspiracy Reddit was that he was using the Mandalay Bay bandwidth to those cameras that he had. Those weren't just to monitor. It shows, I don't know how these fucking Reddit people, these trolls that are on Reddit figure this shit out, that was a live broadcast out of country somewhere. That was all broadcast live, using the bandwidth in the casino to broadcast it live, which would make sense because he videotaped himself doing it. Why would you do that other than evidence? Like, why you're like, you know what? I want the cops to see how I did it. Or I'm broadcasting this out of country for people to see.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Well, again, it's only been a couple days. They're not going to give all information anyways if it's an ongoing investigation to something that they need to find people. What I found interesting was that his girlfriend was not a person of interest. Now she is a person of interest. She is away in the Philippines at the time.
It seems much bigger than just a man going ape shit.
I don't know, but then it could be a man going ape shit.
A man going ape shit. It could just be, which is just it's like you said. It's just the weird thing about this country that people.
But that's the thing is that I I'm not some motherfucker that's always saying fake media because I don't believe in that. I believe the media serves an important purpose in this country. But I do think that the media.
I mean, I'm not even talking about the conspiracy theories that sound like that are just horse shit. Those are out there too.
There's others.
I saw some that were saying crisis actor shown like that it didn't happen at all.
Yeah,
and it's like that happened. It fucking happened. Like, there's a difference between conspiracy, hoax, and
that's the thing that I'm so sick of on conspiracy theories is the crisis actors and that nothing happened, nothing is real. It's just like okay, and then like. Just, like they'll probably even say that Tom Petty was part of the Illuminati and that Tom Petty didn't actually die and that, he just retired to a more private life and all that kind of shit. When David Bowie died.
Those are conspiracy theories that just make conspiracy theorists, like, they make them cringe, but make them look like fucking crazy-ass people.
Because it's just like, okay, things do happen in the world. Like nothing just never happens. Like some things will happen. You know, not saying everything is got to be valid or real or not orchestrated or something, but things do happen. And I feel like so many of these, it's just so simple to go to, like, there's, you know, this person was in this place, and like, okay, dude, crisis actors. It's just so maddening. It just
they show a guy who they say is a crisis actor. He was a
I saw a girl that was doing an interview that was supposed to be in two different locations. So and
there's another one that's it's not a conspiracy at all, which is easily explained, but it's just something that I want to address. A girl was interviewed right after, and she said, before this all happened, there was a lady inside the grounds yelling at us that we're all gonna die. And she got removed from the premises, but she was yelling, "You're all gonna die! You're all gonna die!" This is a video you can find online. It was a news interview. I mean, that's easily explained by it's Vegas. There's crackheads. Everybody's always saying you're gonna die. You're at a country music festival. There people who hate those kind of people could be in there.
There's a lot of weird Christians in Vegas hanging out with the end of the world propaganda.
I've seen them myself.
Or that the person giving the interview themselves, if nobody else can
vouch for it,
but
she looked like
she could have been just an attention grabbing.
But she looked like a normal 21-year-old girl who was there to just listen to some country music. Mm-hmm. There's nothing weird about this girl who gave the interview. And if you want to look at the interview, Conspiracy Reddit, they have it.
But I mean, this is, I imagine, a 30-second clip, right?
It's a whole interview. It's a whole interview.
So, I mean, she could be a weirdo.
No, of course. Yeah. I mean, there's, like I'm saying, like, for every conspiracy, for every theory, there's always a logical explanation. But it's just, to me, this thing was just so crazy that I don't know if I can believe that it's just so cut and dry that a guy went nuts and he had 20-something guns in his room.
You know what's scary, though?
He was tactical enough to blow out 2 windows, even though he had no military training.
I mean, he just smashed out the windows.
He went from side to side to keep them corralled. So he would shoot right here, and then he figured that they would start moving. So he went to the other side of his room where he shut out the other window and he started shooting there.
It's a goddamn Xbox, Chewy.
It could be. Honestly, no.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, but I mean, people like us wouldn't really know how to triangulate things if it wasn't for games that taught you how to triangulate. I don't know. The only reason I know triangulate is because I know it from video games. I didn't know that before.
I mean, but, you know, I'm sure there's definitely some kind of, I mean, I don't know if he was a war enthusiast, you know, that watched some documentaries about snipers and they're like, so that's what you do.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely learn it from watching a documentary on History Channel. You could, yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know. What I'm scared of in this climate is that we live in a day where there's so much misinformation out on the internet and there's so much distrust.
Definitely.
I mean, it's what caused the election. It's what caused the election to sway one way.
I want the audience to know right now that I'm not saying that this was a conspiracy. I'm not saying that.
What I'm saying is that whatever the official report is,
nobody will ever believe it.
A whole group of deniers and people that just sit on fences that are like, oh, I don't know. You know what I mean? And you know, it's so sad that we've gone to this level of distrust in all establishments that we can't trust anything that is said. You know, whether that's warranted or not, I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, so that shit that happened this week, it was just a big thing. Like I said, it's literally.
Will this stop you from going to events?
No, it won't stop me. It won't stop me because everybody always thinks it'll never happen to me. Mm-hmm. Well, here's a funny story about that. I actually planned on being in Las Vegas that night because the Sharks played the Las Vegas Knights in the last preseason game of the season at the new T-Mobile Arena. If you're not familiar with the NHL, the Las Vegas Knights are a brand new team. It's a team that was just made this summer. Brand new team that's going to be in the NHL. You're going to hear a lot about them in the future. And I wanted to see them before it got too expensive to see them. So I'm sure that's a hot ticket in Vegas. But preseason, nobody really cares. It's probably a little empty, or emptier than most. And I'd been planning to go there all summer. I was like, I'm going to that game. Like, it's gonna be badass. It's the end of summer. Rooms are probably cheap, which they were. And I wanted to be there so bad, but because my grandfather passed away and I started a new job. I actually started a new job this week. It just didn't make any sense to be there. So I was like, you know what, back burner. I'll go to another game there another time. But because Katie's cousin was there, these IPAs, dude. Because Katie's cousin was there, and because I love Jason Aldean, I really do. I like country music. I worked for a country station, and I grew this fucking love for country. I would have gone there just to sit outside the fence. I know myself. I know I would have got out of that fucking game and would have said, let's grab some drinks because it's open bottle. It's an open bottle law in that city. Nobody's going to stop you from drinking in the street. Let's go grab
listen to the concert.
Let's just listen to the concert. 100% that's what I would have done. And when I saw that news, I was like, I would have been there. 100%. I would have heard Jason Aldean. I would have heard that Katie's cousin was there. We probably would have chilled after. I was almost there. But based off of chance of just happenstance of your life happening, I wasn't there. And that kind of did make me like, I mean, it doesn't make you think too much because you're like, I wasn't there. That's the plain and simple fact. I wasn't. But I wanted to be there. It's just crazy how life can happen that way. I planned on it all summer, and it just, by chance, I wasn't able to do it. I had been talking to Katie about it since I heard that the Sharks would play in Vegas the last game of the preseason. It's just nuts, dude. I don't know. It does kind of like fuck me up to think that what would I have done? Like, I don't think I'm as tactical as the people who made it to get out of there. Like, what's the chance that I wouldn't have been the one of the 500 people hit? Especially since I would have been outside, not necessarily inside. It's just crazy. Nothing to say to that? No. That's crazy though, right?
It's crazy. Yeah, I mean that's why I have nothing to say to that. I mean, I do.
And that sounds like something that I would have done, right?
That's what I would have done. That you don't know until you're there.
Yeah, I mean, who's to say that I wouldn't have gotten tired after the game and been like, no, let's go inside. But yeah. I don't know what I would have done. So it's just crazy to think about. Life's just crazy. Speaking of, let's just change gears. Speaking of the NHL, season starts tonight. You a hockey fan at all?
You know, I went to my fair share of games locally when I was a kid.
With me?
Took you. My mom used to get tickets from work, either free or cheap, and so I used to go see the Falcons, back when they were a team, and and then it became Monsters games eventually.
Yeah, that's lower level.
But we still went.
When they were at the Selland Arena, I don't think. Have you ever seen a game at the Gateway?
That was my last bit of hockey experience.
Selland Arena.
Selland Arena. Yeah, I never went to a game, or you know what? I think I might have gone to one game at the Save Mart Center, which was totally different experience because
that's why it collapsed.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not the same. It was all spread out. Nobody was sitting next to each other. It was hard to get into it the same way. The crowd atmosphere definitely wasn't the same. And but I don't follow any of the professional teams.
So if you guys didn't know, I'm a huge San Jose Shark fan. Like I've been a huge San Jose Shark fan for the last decade or so. Before that, I mentioned that my grandfather passed away last week. I was a little kid when I saw Wayne's World, and my grandpa he just talked about Chicago all the time. He's like Chicago. Like, he left his heart in Chicago. Well, straight up, he did. Like wherever he lived after that, it didn't matter. He probably hated Parlier, or he liked it a little bit, but he left his heart in Chicago.
May I ask you something? What did he do in Chicago?
The railroad work. He was a railroad worker.
I know that there's like a huge Mexican population in Chicago, and I've always wondered, why were they going there? You know?
Yeah, he was a part
of such a far distance in the U.S. to travel
anywhere where there was a union, anywhere where there was skilled labor needed, that's where Mexicans went. So he was there working the railroad, making good money. He has pictures of himself in suits. He knew a Chicago Bears player back then. I don't know how the NFL worked back then, but they didn't make that much money. That guy came and worked during the week at the railroad, and then he'd give them like tickets and stuff later on. He'd be like, "Hey, you guys want to come to my game?" Same thing with baseball. There was a baseball player he knew that I always asked him, like, what's his name? And I tried to Google this guy, but I couldn't figure out who he was. There was a White Sox player that would work with them. And he would go to White Sox games all the time. But so my grandpa had this love for Chicago, so I saw Wayne's World, and they were from Aurora, Illinois, and they wore Blackhawks jerseys. So I was like, oh, shit, I'm a Blackhawks fan. And for years, I liked the Blackhawks until I saw Mighty Ducks. And then I was like, oh, shit, I'm a Ducks fan.
Oh, dude, that's blasphemy.
It is blasphemy being a Sharks fan, liking the Ducks.
Liking the Ducks before.
Yeah, I liked the Ducks before I did because of the movies. Disney did a hell of a job, dude.
It's a good marketing campaign.
No, honestly, I remember going to Disneyland. There was a whole store devoted to the Anaheim Ducks. A whole little, on Main Street, USA, there was a store for the Ducks where they bought me a jersey. My parents bought me a jersey, an official jersey. And it was, wild to me that whole store was Mighty Ducks. And now, Disney did that for a lot of teams. They did that for the Anaheim Angels. They own the Anaheim Angels. Angels in the Outfield.
Angels in the Outfield, dude.
Great movie, man.
It was, dude. Christopher Lloyd.
Top 3 Christopher Lloyd movies. Angels in the Outfield. Angels in the Outfield. Angels in the Outfield. Camp Nowhere.
Oh, wait. You're not gonna throw in any of the trilogy?
No, I hate that movie.
Are you serious,
dude? Never.
What the fuck's wrong with you?
That movie sucks.
You're a piece of shit.
No, fuck him.
You don't know anything.
No.
You just lost all credibility to me. The little bit that you still had with me, you lost.
Tell him what the movie is.
Back to the Future, dude.
Fuck that movie.
Dude, you're an idiot.
I hate that movie.
Dude, you're an idiot.
Michael J. Fox, you suck.
Dude, Michael J. Fox is the boss, man.
No, man. You're not going to sell me a nerd-ass kid and tell me he's cool.
What do you mean?
He's a nerd-ass kid in the movie.
He wasn't a nerd-ass kid.
To me, he was, just the way he looked.
It's hella cool in the 80s, dude.
No.
You got to look at this from a 1985 perspective, dude. Those jackets were in, dude.
No.
Those fucking jeans were in.
I had no idea what style was or fashion or anything back then. I knew he was a nerd.
He wasn't a nerd.
He was a nerd to me.
Would you think it was different if Eric Stoltz, who originally filmed the first quarter of the movie?
I don't know who that is.
You don't know Eric Stoltz, dude?
No.
I don't know. He was in that movie Mask, but that's not
The Mask?
No, Mask.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
The one with the dude with the messed up face.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do you know?
I confused that with Powder.
Same premise.
Mm-hmm.
Some Kind of Wonderful. Did you ever watch that?
No.
Not a John Hughes fan.
Not that.
What you know about John Hughes, dude?
Not a lot.
Oh man.
Pretty in Pink. Breakfast Club.
Good movies.
St. Elmo's Fire.
I don't think he did St. Elmo's Fire.
Yeah, he did.
Did John Hughes?
Yeah.
Maybe. He did a lot.
I'm pretty sure he was St. Elmo's Fire.
All the Home Alone movies. Well, not all the Home Alone, just the first 2 good ones.
That's a good movie.
Yeah.
Home Alone?
Home Alone,
way better, way better than Back to the Future.
Hold on a second.
Hands down.
I can't even compare the two because one is a Christmas movie to me and the other is not.
Yeah. That's the beauty of it.
Dude.
That is a Christmas movie and it's not.
I got to watch Home Alone during the Christmas season.
Shout out to Donald Trump for being in Home Alone 2.
Have you seen that meme?
No.
Where he says, nobody remembers that I was the only one that helped Kevin find the hallway.
I've seen the other one where it says Donald Trump saw a 10-year-old kid lost in New York and did nothing to help him.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's my favorite kind of Trump, dude. Before the election, when he had this weird set of videos where he was just giving his random rapid fire shots. You know how I do my little fake attempt at rapid thoughts on my final thoughts?
Oh yeah.
It was Donald Trump, man. Donald Trump did the best. You got to find this video. It's just his thoughts on things in the media, and he was just remake of the Ghostbusters women's cast, stupid. And then he went to the next thing, and it was just wow, he's right. But yeah, that I miss him just being part of acting and just being a fool, and I was okay with him in that role.
Christopher Lloyd, number 1, Angel in the Outfield. If we're being real, number 2, Camp Nowhere.
Oh, dude, you're not even gonna throw in the Addams Family?
No.
Uncle Fester, dude.
No, I didn't like the Addams Family.
Dude, rewatch them. They're good.
I mean, I like.
They're good.
No,
they're good. They're funny. I've always liked the actor that died, Sean Ashton's father. That's in the movie.
I have no idea who that is.
Sean Ashton, fucking Samwise, dude. Come on, Goonies. Sam, you know what's his name? Ashton.
Kutcher.
Sean Ashton.
I don't know who that is, dude.
Samwise from the Lord of the Rings and all that shit. The main kid from Goonies.
Yeah, the giant Sam from Lord of the Rings. The kid from Rudy.
Yeah, the kid from Rudy.
Yeah.
His father is the main Addams dude.
I just want to mention this because somebody just texted me, and it's an avid listener of the podcast, Timmy Gomez. Because
I miss that guy.
Yeah, today, Fast and the Furious announced that Fast 9 will be out April 10th, 2020.
Oh, shit.
He hates that franchise.
I'm sure he does.
He hates that franchise. What do you think about something going 9 movies long?
Stupid.
You think Fast and the Furious is better than... I think Fast and the Furious... Fast and the Furious 1 is better than all 3 Back to the Futures combined.
Oh, fuck you, dude. You're a piece of shit. Tell Tim that.
No, I'll tell him.
Look, I'm going to say, Tim, I don't know how he gets away with it. He does. He has the saltiest positions on certain things, but you never really notice he's a salty person. He's funny as hell, and he's a smart dude, and I love that guy.
He's in medical school.
And we have some of the same views where I get judged for how salty I am on something. Like if I were to tell you my position on the whole Fast and Furious movies, and you'd be like, you're salty. But Tim has the exact same thing, and that's what I love. He has the exact same opinions as me on certain things like that, and it just flies off the shoulder. Like,
I don't know, you're kind of a salty man.
You don't understand what I'm saying here.
No, hold on, no. So I had an idea.
Yeah.
I had an idea the other day that I want more guests on this show.
Yeah.
I want more bigger caliber guests.
Yeah.
So I had the idea of getting Richie the Barber on here.
No,
if you're not familiar with Richie the Barber, I'll tell you why you're stupid.
Give him 1/10 a view.
No.
Because he has 100 views on all of his videos.
Let me tell you why you're stupid.
He's a piece. It doesn't make any goddamn sense.
So if you're not familiar with Richie the Barber is a YouTuber.
He doesn't seem like he'd have anything to add on all of this. He'd be an interruption.
He's an interview.
Yeah, I know. During the whole thing, he'd just go, and honk his horn.
Let me tell you who Richie the Barber is.
Dude, this is exactly how the experience would be if he was here.
So Richie the Barber is a YouTuber. Have you watched him? Can you stop interrupting me? You're
well, that's what he would do. This is the conversation you'd have with him.
No.
This is the interview.
I've seen interviews with him.
He's an idiot.
No.
I'm sure.
No, you're judging him.
I'm judging him.
So
based on the videos that I've seen.
Richie the Barber is a man from Los Angeles, California.
Can't invite him now.
From Los Angeles, California, who tattooed his entire face to look like a clown. Now, I can see where that sounds ridiculous, and it may be, but he's an interesting ass dude.
Nah, dude.
So he hold on. He's been on America's Got Talent, which Michael says anybody can be on America's Got Talent.
Yeah, anybody can.
Yeah, you can. He's also been on the William Shatner wine show, Brown Bag Wine.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
So William Shatner has this show where he brings bottles of wine in a brown bag, and it might be shit, and it might be good. You don't know. You have to base it on your taste buds. And your taste, you're checking to see, like, he asks you at the end, what do you think about this wine? Is it good? Is it bad? He interviews you while you're drinking it. So you don't know if it's a $20,000 bottle of wine or if it's two-buck chuck from Trader Joe's. You don't know. So he's been on that. He's been on America's Got Talent. He's had a Los Angeles Times documentary on him. Like, people are genuinely interested in this man.
He has 100 views.
On some of his videos, he does. On other ones, he has thousands.
100 views.
I mean, we haven't even cracked 100 yet.
Yeah, I know. But we're not pretending that we're celebrities.
I'm just saying, we're not at the level yet where we can just say, hey,
Look,
Fred
man.
Durst.
Hey, man.
Come on the podcast. Hey, Fred Durst, come to Sanger, California, and you come to my room.
I pitched almost the exact same idea about a guy that is huge now before he was huge. The Joker face dude.
I don't know. I don't remember what you're talking about.
The guy had his face tattooed like fucking Dark Knight Joker.
I don't remember you talking about that.
Oh, I talked about it. I talked about it in the beginning, and you said it was stupid.
Stop touching the mic.
Well, you're giving me the signal to touch it.
No, not touch it. Your stupid little thing touches it and it interrupts it.
Well, but then I should move it away like that.
Yeah, I don't remember who that. You literally hooked yourself on it.
I did.
I don't know who the Dark Knight guy is, and we didn't have a podcast
the
back
guy,
then.
Dude, we did. We did have
we?
a podcast. Yeah, and you said it was stupid.
I don't remember saying that.
I told you about how he has all these weird videos of him where he's got like a diaper on.
I want you guys to and
he's like,
what little listeners we have. If you would like to see Richie the Barber, if you'd like Richie the Barber to be on this show, please just comment. Get Richie the Barber on because he'll come.
All the people that know me say fuck that.
No.
Just don't even say get Richie the Barber or don't get him. Just put fuck that. You know what that means. That's a vote for me.
It's
a vote for reason.
No, if you want to vote, if you want this show to continue to not have guests, Richie the Barber.
Let's just get a good guest.
A tattooed face guy. Who do we get? Who wants to come on here?
That's what she said.
We can get our friends all we want. We can get people we know all we want. But to get outsiders to come on,
I don't even know if this is topic for the podcast. Actually, I want them to decide. I want you to know that he's pointing at you, even though there's no camera. He's pointing directly
I'm
at
pointing
you.
at the computer. I am pointing at the computer. Correct. I want you all to go and watch Richie the Barber's videos. And if you want him, we can get him. All we got to do is take a little road trip because he's not coming over here. I don't think he has a car. But we just got to take a little road trip to downtown LA. We can get Richie the Barber on this podcast. But if you want Michael Steinhauer's homeless friend Lunchbox to be on here, we can get him on here too.
Dude, that would be a great interview. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I mean, if he was still alive, I don't know.
I don't know if he is because I haven't seen him. He could be locked up. He did have another court date. So, and I remember him thinking that he signed on to a bad deal. So he could be doing hard time right now.
All right.
It would make sense.
This is a good time.
Yeah.
For Michael's final thoughts.
All right. So, you haven't listened to Tom Petty. You should go
listen to Tom Petty.
Go listen to Tom Petty.
At least Free Fallin'.
Whether you're
going to
buy
down.
something. Or, dude, you know what? I changed my mind. That's the best song.
Back down.
If you're gonna look up any song, look up that song. But if anything, go on. It's free. Go to fucking YouTube. Open a full album. Just listen to a full album. Don't stop listening to single tracks. Listen to full albums. There's a lot of hidden gems. What else did we talk about today?
We talked about the shooting.
I don't want to talk about the shooting yet. That seems like
NHL is coming back.
NHL, get interested. Check it out. I kind of wish that I was still, watching, but I don't really have any medium to watch it on. Anyways, we live in a world that's tumultuous. It's scary. It's we don't know what's going to happen. It should not stop you from getting out and just doing things and living life. Again, think about who you're voting for. It does play into it. Think about who you're voting for. Don't think of single issues, but think of the grand scope. And again, I'm not one that usually gets political on here, at least. But think about it. That's my final
What about
thought.
Richie the Barber?
Richie the Barber, seems like a weird dude. If I hung out with him, if I shared a 40 with him, if I was already a 40 in before he even got into the interview, I probably like him. I probably like him anyways, but I don't know, dude. It seems a little weird.
All right, well, that's the final thoughts here. I'll end it with a couple of my final thoughts here. I want you guys to follow us on YouTube if you haven't, because we really want you to subscribe. Please subscribe to the YouTube. follow us on Instagram. And we're on Spreaker now, which Michael's going to pay $120 on his credit card to get us on Spreaker full time.
It used to be a 50-50 thing, but whatever.
Yeah, well, whatever. $120 on Michael. Follow us on Spreaker, Maximum Chillage. Take us on the go. You don't need to be on YouTube if you listen to us on Spreaker. Download the app. It's a free app in the App Store. And until next time, goodbye.